Xavi named his all-time British 11. Xavi is one of the greatest midfielders of all time and is regarded as one of the smartest men to ever play football. His mind for the sport was just unmatched, and as such, any opinion he shares on the beautiful game holds a lot of weight. He's also played against and played alongside some of the very best footballers to ever grace a pitch. As a result, he knows a thing or two about talent. In the past, the former Barcelona man was asked to name his all-time greatest British 11, and he did so via Shortlist magazine back in 2014. The results, and some of the inclusions, were very interesting to say the least. Let's take a look at the team he named below. Right off the bat, Xavi's team has a wild inclusion as he named Fraser Forster the best British goalkeeper of all time. That's a wild statement now in 2024, but it was just as absurd back in 2014 when the Spaniard picked his team. It was the former Celtic star's performances against Xavi that earned him a spot, though, with the ex-midfielder saying, "Barcelona have met Celtic 4 times in recent seasons, and every time Forster put in an incredible performance. In the games we've played, he's made some of the best saves I have ever seen." His backline was a little more to be expected, however. Picking 3 centre-backs, he chose 3 of the best in Premier League history. First, he has Sol Campbell playing a big role in winning so many titles. He is strong, but he can play. He'll pass the ball out of defense when he has the opportunity, and that is reminiscent of the Barcelona style. His final defender was John Terry. Regarded as one of the best defenders of all time, even Xavi, who wasn't a fan of Chelsea, had to appreciate him. The Spaniard said, "I have not always been complimentary about how Chelsea play, because it is the opposite of what we stand for at Barcelona. But I can't deny that Terry is one of the most committed English players I've played against, and a great leader for club and country." Midfield, Scholes, Gascoigne, Lampard, Giggs, Gerrard, while the figures included in Xavi's midfield are all worthy names. The positions he employed them in was pretty wild. He picked Paul Scholes as one of his 3 central midfielders. Speaking about the former Manchester United man, he said, "Technically the best English player since Matt Le Tissier, who I grew up watching. Just unbelievably gifted. Every time I played against him or watched him on TV, he made everything look so easy. I've never seen anyone make playing that well look so effortless." Alongside Scholes, he named Paul Gascoigne. The Englishman is one of the most skillful players in Premier League history, and Xavi was a big fan, saying, "You must work hard as a player, but they're top 20 British goal scorers in Premier League history." Ranked, the final player he selected in midfield was Steven Gerrard. On the surface, including the former Liverpool man was a no-brainer. Having him on the left wing is pretty unorthodox, though. Xavi was a big fan, though, and thought the star could have played for Barcelona, saying, "John Barnes was one of the first midfield players I remember watching and appreciating his technical skill. Gerrard is just as good and, like Frank Lampard, he has every attribute you need to be a Barcelona player." Moving on to the forwards, Xavi made the surprising decision to name Theo Walcott as one of the greatest British forwards of all time. The former Arsenal man had a solid career in the top flight, but never quite reached the lofty heights many expected from him early in his career. Still, his pace caused a lot of issues for his opposition, and the Spaniard was impressed. Talking about his decision to include Walcott, he said, "We were playing Arsenal in London, in 2010, and we were winning 2-0, in total control. There was no way we should have done anything but win the game. Then they introduced Theo Walcott. He changed the game for them and it finished 2-2. We didn't know how to deal with his pace." The final player in Xavi's team was Wayne Rooney.